Hello, these notes are for worksheet 30, which is page 60 and 61 in the workbook. It's the beginning of fractions in this workbook. The first thing we're going to talk about are the two different types of fractions we can see. All right, proper fraction is a fraction whose numerator is smaller than the denominator. Okay, so some examples of this would be like 3/5, 4/5. You could have 2/3. Anytime this numerator, right, is smaller than the denominator, that is called a proper fraction. Now, an improper fraction is a fraction whose numerator is larger than its denominator. Okay, so if you have like 6/3, 7/5, 10 eighths, right? All of these are considered improper fractions because the numerator is larger than the denominator. Now, there's two things. When this occurs, what we like to do is rewrite them sometimes so they make more sense. So the first thing is rewriting improper fractions as whole numbers. Remember, an improper fraction is going to have a numerator that is greater than the denominator. So all we do to figure out the whole number is we divide the numerator by the denominator, and that will give you the whole number. So if we do some examples here, right? So example 1, if I have 14/7, okay? If I take 14 and I divide it by 7, what does that give you? 2. So get another example. Okay? Say 28/14, right? That is basically going to be 28 divided by 14, which would give you 2. Third example, let's go 21/7. Okay, if we take 21 divided by 7, what does that equal? 3. So that would simplify to 3. So anytime we simplify these improper fractions to whole numbers, all we do is we divide, because all division problem or all fractions are division problems. Next, what happens if we want to rewrite an improper fraction as a mixed number? This is when you do the division and it doesn't come out even, meaning you have a remainder. Okay, so again, we're still working with an improper fraction. So we have a numerator that's greater than a denominator. What we do is we divide again, right? But when we divide the numerator by the denominator, you'll get a whole number up here. But then what happens is we get a remainder. So what do we do with the remainder? We take and we put the remainder over the denominator. Okay? So anytime the division isn't going to be even, we're going to get a mixed number, which is a whole number plus a proper fraction, meaning the remainder is going to be less than the denominator. Okay? So let's take a couple of examples here. Let's take 10/7. If we wanted to write this as a mixed number, we're going to take 10 divided by 7. How many times does 7 go into 10? 1 time. 1 times 7 is 7. What do we do now? We subtract. We get 3. 7 cannot go in 3, and I have nothing to bring down, so my remainder is 3. So how do we write our mixed number? We say it's 1 and 3/7. Okay, let's take another example. Let's say 25/4. Okay, so again, we're going to divide. We're going to take 25 divided by 4. How many times does 4 go into 25? 6 whole times. When I multiply to figure out my leftovers, 25 minus 24 is 1. I have nothing to bring down here. 4 does not go into 1, so my remainder is 1. So how do I write my mixed number? It's going to be 6 and 1 out of the denominator 4, and that would be my mixed number. So right now you're going to go ahead and finish worksheet 30, which is page 60 and 61 in the workbook.